Well, you've got some tears for us, don't you? This is completely blind to us, so we are reacting to it in the moment along with you guys. So much.
The iPad couldn't contain this. He needed the full laptop.
The floor is yours, Nico.
Okay, listen. Champions League strikers. We're going to rank them in categories, and the tiers are fall-themed. The very top is a toasted amber ale. Bogart, I know you love that.
That's my man.
Campfire S'mores, Half Harvest, and then the worst is pumpkin spice latte because, of course, pumpkin spice.
What is a half harvest?
It's like when you don't reap all of your harvest. It's a half harvest. It's a good.
Agricultural, no big deal.
All right, listen. You got to think that this pool of strikers have got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 12 strikers, and it's the ones that you're thinking of: Girassi, Gyökeres, Voltemade, Osimhen, Pepe's on there, Thuram, Erling Haaland, Kane. So I'm gonna get stuff out of the way just for argument's sake. All right. Okay, let's see if this can work well. No, Haaland is not going to fall in half harvest, but the screen is too big. I'm going to put him in toasted amber ale.
Live. This is live.
Yeah, this is live. Nico is
but I can't scroll up, so I got
graphics department.
Imagine Mbappe in pumpkin spice latte. I'm going to put him in toasted amber. Oh no, there we go. I can zoom out. All right, and you know who else? I'm going to put Kane and Lewandowski in this top category. All right, guys.
Oh, now you're putting them right up there.
Okay, but you know what?
Okay.
But for me, Julian.
Is he campfire s'mores?
If I gotta back up, but then I'm gonna move these guys down.
Whoa.
Because I think Haaland and Mbappe are a different category. Lewandowski's coming off of his most elite time, and Kane, I don't think is.
So this is right now. These tiers are right now.
Right now. Top strikers right now.
What about Harry Kane?
I put him in Campfire S'mores alongside Julian and Lewandowski, because I think Haaland and Mbappe are in a category of their own. But look, we got Isak. Where do we put Isak? Half harvest?
Campfire S'mores.
Campfire S'mores. Okay, I'll put Isak. I think Isak has shown that he's at that level, but like now with Liverpool, I expect him to maintain that level, and I think he has Campfire S'mores potential. Instead of like, I want to keep the S tier of toasted amber ales.
I think that's fair. I like that.
I think you should have made a 5th tier then.
But it's gonna get complicated.
There's not enough fall innuendos.
Because we got Marcus Thuram, and does Thuram fall in a half harvest? I don't think so. So that's why I'm gonna go and move Julian, Kane, and Lewandowski back here. Okay.
This is elite storytelling.
So I can put Thuram, because I do feel there's like a pumpkin spice latte in here. Like Nick Voltemade. I like Nick Voltemade a lot, but am I going to put Nick Voltemade in the same category as where I put Isak?
No.
Right? Because Isak is clearly better than Voltemade. Like, Voltemade has to be.
I don't think Voltemade is as bad as pumpkin spice latte.
So this is grading on a scale. I don't know, but look at the Champions League strikers. That's if he's not in the bottom tier of this elite tier, then who is?
Okay, we've got 5 guys left coming up. One of them is Seru Girassi, who I'm gonna. He's been sensational, but only for the past like 2 seasons. Right, the season before with Dortmund, the season before that with Stuttgart.
What about Voltemade?
With Stuttgart, Voltemade not at the same level of Girassi, and in the same league.
Girassi was tied for the leading scorer list.
Yeah, better than Voltemade. So are we putting Girassi?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Girassi at half harvest.
And Voltemade at pumpkin spice latte?
I mean, I should recuse myself. I'll let you finish out the rest of the players.
But I'm open to this. Like Girassi at half harvest, I do think he's in a category down of striker, although he's really good, between Isak and Thuram, but like Osimhen, for example. Like, has Osimhen fallen to half harvest? I think he would have been toasted amber ale if we were having this conversation 2 years ago. But like Galatasaray, there's a limit to how good I think he can be, because the domestic league is way too easy for him, and then in European football they came up short, right? He didn't really flex his muscles as much. I think he has a redemption story. I think all of Galatasaray has a redemption story in this Champions League season, but he's there. Listen, we have 3 strikers left. 2 are CONCACAF players. And Jonathan David and Ricardo Pepi. And 1 is Victor Gyökeres.
Oh my God.
I think Victor Gyökeres is in the same conversation as a Nick Voltemade. In fact, I think Nick Voltemade got out to a better start than Victor Gyökeres, and he was doing it he was putting up numbers. He was reliable in a tougher league than Gyökeres, right? Gyökeres was absolutely amazing in Portugal.
Interesting, because I would have Gyökeres in campfire s'mores.
You would have Gyökeres in campfire s'mores?
I think he's that good, yeah.
Okay.
But
I think
I'm deferring to you. You're the one controlling the
But
computer.
he hasn't showed it yet. I'll put it in half harvest. Oh, I think this is a disservice to Nick Voltemade. And then Jonathan David is what, half harvest also? But see, it doesn't look right. This doesn't look right. And where's Pepe?
Oh.
I think he.
Like, is Pepe pumping spice latte?
I think he has to be. Again, with like, it seems disrespectful to put anybody in this bottom tier, but like, this is the best of the best in European football.
Pumpkin spice latte is still good.
It's still really good. Like, really.
Occasionally. Right, but we're splitting hairs here.
Hypothetically,
right?
not in the literal sense.
I think Jonathan David and Pepe, like, these are all our strikers, by the way, from our tiers. I think Pepe and Jonathan David fit into the same category, although Jonathan David over the last year was better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this for Voltemade.
I don't like this for Voltemade either. I think he's better than Pepe and Jonathan David.
Voltemade scored 12 goals in the Bundesliga last year. The year before that, he was in 3 Liga. So you're talking about Gyökeres hasn't done it at a high enough level for long enough?
Okay, so are we moving Gyökeres further up here to fit in Voltemade? Okay.
I'm just using, if your argument is have they done it before at this stage?
Okay, yeah.
I'm such a big fan of
see-
Voltemade, and I'm coming out as the biggest hater in this segment. I hate the position you put me in.
I think, but we're
personally
splitting hairs.
offended.
I think this is what we got to do, right, with these tiers.
This is how you make the tiers.
If you could redo it, would you add a 5th one underneath? Would that make this a little bit easier for you?
I think
You
that
like
makes
the
it.
full?
I think it makes it easier. I like the challenge of putting it in 4. Like, you're gonna piss somebody off, right? Like, I think Victor Osimhen has the quality to. Like, for example, I can't take the credit because I did not design these tiers. But
Oh, you just threw somebody under the bus.
yeah, no, for good. I think these tiers are awesome. Like, I wish I would have had a little bit of hand in here. Like,
cool.
There's a lot of movement here. So I don't know. I'm like,
Maybe we'll
up
start
and
I think you
down
did a
with
great
it.
job.
Thanks.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
I feel like there could be some reworking there. We didn't, gorilla glue these down. They're still movable.
Yeah.
100%.
Same way he was moving them as we were talking.
Poor Voltemade. Like, Pepe
I
didn't cut it in
agree.
Bundesliga, and Voltemade did.
Hi, Mikel.
Hello.
It was announced this morning that William Saliba signed a new long-term contract at the club. Just how big is that news?
Yes, big news. Very happy. Congratulations to Willie. Fully deserves this new contract. His contribution to the club, to the team, has been phenomenal the last few years, and very happy to keep the spine of the team with us.
Like you say, the spine of the team. There's quite a few players in the squad now who have committed their futures to the club for the long term. Does that say that most of the players in the squad believe they can win what they want here at Arsenal?
Yes, first of all, that they feel that they belong to this club, and they feel very attached to it, and they share the same ambition with the club. And obviously, they feel valued, they feel loved here, and they want to continue their careers here, which is great.
It's been a couple of days since the late win over Newcastle. Just what has that impact been like on the squad, and have you seen a difference in the players?
Well, great energy, obviously. The moment you go in the dressing room, everybody is celebrating, especially because the manner and the way it happened. But yeah, you have to move on immediately, and you know that we have a very tough match tomorrow against Olympiacos, and ready for it.
And heading into that match, is everyone fit and available?
Yes, no surprises. Hincapié and Anon is still out, so no news. The rest all good.
Martin Odegaard came off the bench, had a big impact against Newcastle. Is he fit to start now?
It was very good. He came on, and immediately you could see the desire and the responsibility to get in game to try to change it. His decision making, the way he approached every ball, and he made a difference to help us to win the game.
Ian Talkswell.
Hi, Mikel. How
Hi.
are you?
Good, thank you.
In terms of the Champions League, because you got to the semi-final last year, so close.
Is there a greater expectation and greater pressure on you this year, this competition?
Well, we have the same ambition, which is go game by game and try to be better than the opponent, which is very difficult in this competition, and win as many games as we can. And tomorrow we're going to have a really difficult one. We know how important the home form is going to be to reach in this phase where we want to arrive, and tomorrow we have the opportunity to start well.
Great news about William Saliba, and this used to be a club whereby you felt that players would go into the last year of their contract and maybe managers or administrative staff weren't on top of it. Is that the one thing or one of the things you've changed for the better, that you can say this is one thing that I really have been successful at?
Well, I don't know. What I know certainly is that at the end there are 2 or 3 parties that have to come together to an agreement, and with the 3 of them have the same intention and the same will, it's easier to get it done. And in these cases, it's been extremely positive. Obviously, Andrea, the team, and the support that we have from Stan and Josh especially makes this obviously possible and available, and we are extremely happy to continue this journey with them.
Finally, if I can have a bit of fun with you, I mean, Arsenal are flying high, so no surprise to see the RAF story this week. Firstly, when are they coming in? Are they coming in to see the RAF? I didn't have to dodge any planes to get in the car park. And secondly, how do you come up with these ideas? Because they're very out of the box. They're very left field. These ideas to improve your players with very different kind of ways of doing it.
Yeah, you're a bit late. That was 2 years ago. So the plane's already gone. I don't know where it is at the moment.
Okay, we'll go to Garmisch from Sky.
Hey, Miguel.
Yeah.
Just on William Saliba, it's going to be clear that some of European football's top clubs will be interested in a player like that. Was there any part of you, with him entering the final 2 years of his deal, that was fearful he wouldn't sign?
Probably more than the length of the contract is the will of the player, because then you can understand. I said some players, sometimes they have a dream. Some of them is being to play in the Premier League, some of them is to play in the Premier League for Arsenal. Another one can be to play in a different country for a different club. So you have to respect that. I think we've been really, really lucky, but as well it shows the power of this football club and how much people loves it and wants to come here, that none of that is happening. Even they have the possibility to go somewhere else, they want to remain here.
He signed at Arsenal when he was very young, at 18 years old.
Yeah.
And there were 3 loan spells early in his Arsenal career. Were you always convinced that William Saliba was going to become the player that we see today?
Well, I think it's a great example is to get where you want. There is not a single pathway. It can happen in various ways, in various manners, because when you talk about this pathway, you talk about loans. Within those loans, there were various reasons to those loans. There was a big injury as well that kept him for a long period of time away from football. Then when he was here, we had another serious injury. So it's a lot that has happened, a lot that Willie had to get through, and the club and myself with him as well, to get to the point where he is today. And that's the beauty of it. That sometimes things don't start the way you expected, but sometimes it's the best thing that can happen to you to get where you want to get.
Just final one from me. Whenever I hear pundits and journalists talking about Arsenal, there's obviously a lot of noise outside the club. And one of the messages this season seems to be Arsenal have got no excuses. They've just got to go out there and do it. Are you aware of this noise? Do you pay attention to it? Or how do you block it out?
Well, I'm aware the moment I step in this chair that what I want with this football club is to win major trophies. That's it. Nobody else has to put that line into us. That's the ambition, the first day, and the excuses, they never been part of my life.
Thank you. James from CBS. Yeah.
Hi, Mikel. I'd just like to take back to your first European tie as an Arsenal manager, which I'm sure you remember was against Olympiacos, and was quite dramatic. You have the last-minute goal against you, the last-minute goal that didn't come, and then quite dramatic days afterwards as well, and quite significant. In that time, are you thinking, what on earth have I let myself in for here?
No, no, but that's the beauty of football as well. I think I perfectly remember when we scored the goal, then when we conceded the equalizer, the last chance that we have in the last second of the game as well to go through it. What happened after that as well, when COVID and everything hit. So yeah, part of the journey as well to get to where you. Is a good example, like Willie, to get where you want to get. Sometimes you have to go through moments that probably you didn't expect to go through.
How did that strange sort of first year in the job change or help you develop as a manager?
Well, it was a lot, obviously, to swallow coming into a massive club in the middle of the season when you never coach a team. That's already a big challenge. On top of that, everything that was happening at the football club, on top of that, COVID hits, you're not able to be in contact with your players or the club, and that drags for almost 2 years. Yeah, it's a lot, but it was an experience that I learned a lot from it, and I think it made all of us better.
Simon, standard.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
I know the atmosphere is a big thing for you. And one of the things we've noticed this season, obviously the tunnel has changed. There's no cover over it. I just wonder, is that something you were involved in? What was that change about? And how do you think it can impact the atmosphere?
No, obviously also as a club we have always the ambition to generate the best atmosphere in the world at the Emirates, and we have the best supporters in the world, and now we have to facilitate everything, and the team has to give the right feelings to our supporters every time we play in front of them. We need to habilitate as well the stadium in the manner that we want, and we need to ignite that will that we have to play every single ball with us, because it makes such a difference. I want to play and win the things that we want to win. That's a non-negotiable. You need to have a stadium that is able to create those moments for sure.
The other one I wanted to ask you was about Max, who, if he plays in any of these games before his birthday, could make history in the Champions League. Obviously, we all are talking about him a lot in these few months, but for you as managers, when were you first aware of the talent you had, and what work has gone into the point where we are now, where he could be making history?
Well, the first conversation probably was with Per, when we were talking about the talent and what he could see and feel that I could reach out the level that we needed. Straight away his name came up, and then we started to look at him, and the way he's developed himself and the steps that he's taking and the speed he's taking them, it's probably unheard of. And he's fully with us, he's part of us, he trained with us, and he's got the same chances as anybody else.
Can you remember what year that conversation was?
I would say a year and a half, 2 years ago.
James, Athletic.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you about Victor Gyökeres. He was involved in a really physical game at the weekend with Newcastle. I just wondered, what was your assessment of how he stood up to that challenge, and where do you think that, what does that say about where he is in his adaptation?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it how he took it. He went on board, not a single moment when he's showing frustration. I told him, you're going to get some decisions, some others not. Stand up, you're going to have 2 or 3 players around you many moments. The ball is in the air and a lot is going to happen. But I loved his reaction. I loved the way he handled the situation emotionally, and as well because he was involved in a lot of dangerous moments that he created. He was very much involved in them. And it's a pity that he didn't score a goal at the end, because in my opinion he fully deserved it.
There's quite a big sort of burden on him at the moment. There's no Kai, he's kind of the 9 on his own, a lot of expectation. How do you think he's handling that?
In a really natural and organic way, I would say. He's a really confident boy. His work ethic is incredible. The demands that he puts in himself every single day. It's a joy to work with him. He gives so much to the team, and the ceiling is very, very far what he can still give to the team. So very happy with him.
Harry, BBC Radio.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
One of the things that people are most excited about is the volume of options that you have in the squad. On the weekend, we saw Eberici as playing a more central position, sort of close to the forward. What would you say he brings to the role that's maybe a little bit different to what Martin Odegaard does?
Yeah, I think he's got this different quality, that he does things that, in the book, they are unexpected. When you think he's going to turn right, he goes left. When he thinks that he's going to take another touch, he releases the ball. It's his vision. It's a player that can create those magic moments, and at some point he can steal the pot in a way that not many players can do. We are lucky that we have a few of those, but the more we put in central positions in those conditions, especially when he has threat around him, we play in his strengths.
How would you say he's adapted to life at Arsenal? He's not been here that long, but it feels like he's at home already.
Very good. Well, personally, obviously, it's a very special character, someone really easy to get on with, super intelligent. I've been very impressed how quickly he picks things, the question he asks, and how smart he is just to navigate through a different environment. And then, yeah, the chemistry is generating with his teammates, the way he's impacting games. I think for the short period he's been with us, I think really positive.
Okay, last one in the live section. First one here.
Hi, Miguel.
Hi.
Olympiacos has had quite a positive record at the Emirates. How do you not let this affect your mentality, and how do you learn from your previous encounters?
Yeah, well, because they are a really good side, and they have a really, really good manager, which I know since I was 13, because he was my coach at that period, and I know how he works, I know how efficient he is in what he does. That's what I'm saying, that tomorrow is going to be a really tough match.
Okay, and finally live, David from...
Hi, Miguel.
Hi.
Saliba was part of a defense with Gabriel, Timber and Coffee already, the one you have used the most this season. What do you see in this defense, and what do you think it's making it so good?
Well, one is chemistry. I think there is something about, especially when we talk about centre backs or units, that it has to exist, that it has to be a will, a feeling to play for each other, and basically to hide each other's weaknesses and promote each other's strengths. And that's an ability that they have between them, and they have developed. They like to play with each other, they love each other, and that's a massive thing when you're asking your backline to produce what they are producing at the moment.
Every word Mikel Arteta said about Arsenal's victory over Newcastle, Gabriel's handball, Arsenal's goal, and that late penalty decision. Mikel Arteta faced the media after Arsenal's hard-fought win over Newcastle United in the Premier League. It took 2 late goals, from Mikel Merino and Gabriel Magalhaes, to seal the victory, ending a tough run of results at St James Park and bringing the Gunners within 2 points of Liverpool. After a frustrating penalty decision was overturned and a goal from Nick Woltemade was confirmed, it seemed like time was running out. But Arsenal dug deep and delivered a dramatic, yet well-deserved win when it mattered most. Arteta was full of pride and emotion after the final whistle, praising his players' mentality and resilience. How does it feel to finally get the result you deserved, especially after recent games where you dominated but didn't come away with the win? It's an unbelievable feeling. This is what football is all about. When a team gets what it truly deserves at the end, there's no better reward. We've been on the wrong side of these moments too many times. Today, we earned every bit of that result. When VAR was checking Gabriel's moment in the box near the end, what was going through your mind? Well, I saw it live and it looked pretty clear and quick to me, so I didn't think they'd overturn anything. But with what happened in the first half with the penalty decision, I honestly wasn't sure. Regardless, I'm extremely proud of the team, how we played, how we competed, how we responded to really tough moments and still found a way to win. With so many highs and lows in a match like that, how do you even begin to analyze what really happened out there? You have to accept that this is the type of game you have to play in this league. Some things are unpredictable, lineups, formations, but others are crystal clear. You need to fight, stay composed, and take your chances. From start to finish, we did exactly that. And beyond that, we added quality, real quality, throughout the pitch. Mentally, what did a performance like that mean for your players after everything they've faced this season? We talked about needing to learn from the past if we want to reach the next level. We've had tough moments here before, and today was another chance to show what we've learned. This was a big game, in a crucial week for the Premier League. After the adversity we faced earlier this season, we showed exactly who we are and who we want to be. What was your take on the Gyökeres penalty decision? And how impressed were you with how the team responded? I watched it live and again on the big screen, and for me, that's a penalty. We've been told clearly this season that unless it's a clear and obvious error, VAR won't intervene. That wasn't the case here. But again, the key is how we reacted. The team stayed calm, composed, and emotionally in control. That's something we've learned from past experiences. With Liverpool dropping points yesterday, did that add pressure or motivation for today's result? Of course, there are key moments in a season where the opportunity is right there. Yesterday was one of those. And we had to come here, to one of the hardest places to play, and get the job done. That shows what this team is made of. Your substitutes made a massive impact again. That seems to be a recurring theme lately. How important is that? Massive. We knew we'd need fresh legs and different solutions as the game went on. Every player who came on today contributed in a big way. Martin came in and was a threat from the first minute. Saliba stepped in at half-time and was outstanding. Martin, Degaard, was coming back from a long spell out and still managed to deliver 2 assists. And Mikel Merino gave us the moment we needed most. That's what you want from your bench, game changers. There was a bit of a moment between Gabriel and Woltemade after the goal. Did you see what happened there? No, I didn't catch that, sorry. Finally, do you feel like this result helped silence some of the criticism you and your team faced last week? I don't know about silencing critics, but what I do know is we faced Manchester City and Newcastle, 2 of the toughest teams in the league, and I believe we were exceptional in both games. That's my opinion, and I think it's pretty clear. Aftermath and implications of Arsenal's victory over Newcastle. The final whistle brought a mix of relief and celebration for Arsenal. Players embraced with visible emotion, fully aware of how significant this result could be, not just in terms of points, but in terms of belief. For Newcastle, however, the mood was very different. What had looked like a match under control ended in disappointment, frustration, and questions, tightening the title race. With Liverpool failing to secure all 3 points earlier in the weekend, Arsenal's late win pulled them within 2 points of the top of the table. It was a massive result in a weekend that could have widened the gap. Instead, it reopened the title race and reminded everyone that Arsenal remain firmly in the fight. This win also boosts Arsenal's confidence heading into the crucial next stretch of fixtures. In a season where momentum is everything, pulling off a comeback like this, away from home, in a high-pressure situation, sends a message to their rivals: they are not going anywhere. Newcastle's struggles continue. On the other side, Newcastle are left to reflect on yet another match where they couldn't hold on to a lead. Their performance, though solid in spells, was ultimately not enough. Defensive lapses in the final moments, combined with missed chances earlier, proved costly. To make matters worse, they suffered a potential injury to Tino Livramento, whose early exit raised serious concern on the bench. The defeat leaves Newcastle slipping further away from the top 4 conversation, and with key fixtures ahead, questions are beginning to mount about consistency and squad depth. VAR controversy and Gabriel's incident. The match was also marked by officiating controversy. One key moment came when Arsenal appealed for a penalty after Victor Gyökeres was brought down in the box, only for the decision to be overturned after a lengthy VAR check. Mikel Arteta expressed his disappointment post-match, stating he believed it was a penalty and that the threshold for overturning decisions should remain consistent. Another flashpoint came after Gabriel Magalhaes scored and appeared to have a heated exchange with Nick Woltemade. The incident raised eyebrows, though nothing was officially reported by the officials after the game. It did, however, reflect the emotional intensity of the match, particularly in those final few minutes. Breaking the St. James Park curse. St. James Park has never been a particularly kind place for Arteta. In the past, both as a player and manager, he's endured difficult moments here. Last season's loss in this stadium was a turning point in Arsenal's title collapse, and those scars were still visible in his cautious tone pre-match. This time, however, his team showed character, maturity, and control. To come from behind and win in such a difficult environment marks a milestone for this group. It's not just another 3 points. It's a psychological breakthrough. The importance of squad depth. One of the most defining aspects of the match was the impact of Arsenal's bench. Substitutes made the difference. Martin Degaard, returning from injury, brought calm and vision. William Saliba, introduced at half-time, stabilized the defense. And Mikel Merino provided a presence in the box that eventually resulted in the equalizer. Arteta praised his players not just for their talent but for their attitude. The substitutes were fully focused and ready to change the game, and they did. In a long campaign where every point matters, having a reliable and impactful bench could be the difference between second place and the title. A shift in momentum. This win could mark a turning point. Not only has it allowed Arsenal to close the gap at the top, but it also helped bury some of the ghosts of past collapses. Arteta's team is proving that it can handle pressure, respond to setbacks, and remain composed under fire. For Newcastle, the road ahead looks more uncertain. Injuries, tactical inconsistencies, and emotional responses to key moments are beginning to weigh heavily. How they respond in the next few weeks will determine whether they can stay competitive or slip further off the pace.